Uh, I feel like if I can, I don't know. What am I saying? Oh yeah, I feel like if I can get through this before 1 o'clock, I should be great. Um, it's 12:11, so I don't see why I shouldn't be able to. Just go straight to the home screen, cause why not? I hate when they be doing that, but they got the 2K20. First of all, don't nobody play with this no more. I feel like that's only a thing that content creators can show off, like the disc. Like, bro, we know you not using that disc. You gonna show off that disc until the game launches. Then it's all digital. It's all digital. Trying to find some. Let's watch this right here.
I'm opening a restaurant.
I still love the name.
You don't remember the name?
Of course I remember the name.
We didn't even tell anybody.
Batman, Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, Batman. Or have you met?
Not now.
In a pre-MCU world, the DCAU was the crown jewel of superhero adapted media, and Justice League Unlimited seemed just about as good as it could get. And then, in the final episode of JLU Season 2, the show made the craziest turn it possibly could have, and permanently altered one of the most beloved characters in the DCAU canon forever.
Honey, Bruce didn't overwrite your DNA with his. I did.
The DCAU began in 1992 with the inaugural episode of Batman the Animated Series on Leather Wings, and ran until the final episode of Justice League Unlimited Season 3. Encompassing 8 TV shows, multiple direct-to-DVD films, and even a theatrical release, the DCAU was a towering achievement within the superhero media landscape, and Justice League is arguably the best show in the canon. Originally formatted as a 1-hour prestige format show focusing on the Big Seven, the show was then rebooted after its second season as a half-hour program with an emphasis on a much larger cast, faster-paced stories, and a world building that the DCAU had never previously seen. And yet, much like their 4-color counterparts, Justice League wasn't immune to many of the flaws and tropes of their artistic brethren. The story in question is the best example of a retcon that is simultaneously the strangest, most unpredictable thing that could have happened in the DCAU, and maybe its brightest stroke of genius. Today we're delving into JLU Season 2, Episode 13. Epilogue. Now, the key ingredient that makes Epilogue such a strange Season 2 finale is it's less a Justice League story and more a Batman Beyond story. For the record, Terry McGinnis's Batman appeared in multiple episodes of the Justice League shows, usually time travel stories like in the JLU Season 1 2-part finale, but the show never really incorporates Terry into its cast, which makes it all the stranger when Epilogue sees a 31-year-old Terry McGinnis breaking into the home of the shadowy government operative Amanda Waller in order to ask her some very pressing questions. He wants to know why he's an exact match for the DNA of Bruce Wayne. He wants to know why he's a clone. This concept was originally bandied about as being a sequel to Return of the Joker. It would have been a film that focused on the return of Dick Grayson's Nightwing and ultimately would resolve in Terry uncovering the fact that he was a clone of Bruce. However, the reaction to Return of the Joker was controversial, to say the least.
That's not funny.
Until Justice League dusted off the old Batman Beyond cowl and said, just watch this. Contrary to the usual formula of the show, Epilogue jumps back and forth in time, using a dialogue time transition, a call and response between the current and past versions of the characters. They're in dialogue with each other through time. This structure is visually delineated through a full-color modern setting and black and white past setting. In many ways, Batman Beyond was about Terry learning to inhabit the role of Batman. We saw him stumble and make mistakes and learn what it takes to be the Dark Knight. In Epilogue, we see him fully as Batman, and we also see what the ravages of time have done to Bruce. He's now a decrepit shadow of his former self. Justice League Unlimited has a global view on what it requires of an individual to be a hero. It follows an expanded cast of characters who are all working together from the Watchtower high above the Earth in orbit. It's a show about the joy of being a part of a large do-gooding team. Batman Beyond was never that, and as such, this episode is about the weight it takes to be Batman. Since the episode takes place 15 years after the events of Batman Beyond, we find Terry and his longtime girlfriend Dana are still dating, but can't get married due to Terry's fear that it would place her at too much risk if the villains in his rogues gallery ever discovered his secret identity. As the episode progresses and we get further and further into the personal life of Terry and Bruce's relationship, through these past and present call and response mechanics, we learn that Bruce claims he had no knowledge of Terry's DNA being altered. However, in a quintessential Bruce Wayne move, he makes no effort to console Terry or comfort him. He simply states that,
It's a good thing that you're almost a clone of me. The world does need a Batman.
back in the present, Amanda Waller tells
I have to finish it.
I really hope you make
Terry a story of how Batman went above and beyond to help a dying child who had immense psychic powers who could have destroyed Gotham. She tells it to Terry to attempt to illustrate that Bruce isn't a one-dimensional taskmaster devoid of human emotions. Terry doesn't believe it was out of kindness that Bruce helped her. Terry is convinced that it was a cynical ploy to attempt to manipulate the situation to his advantage. And this is where we get the biggest turn of the episode. Amanda Waller, chief antagonist of the Justice League throughout all the Cadmus arc, admits she did it. She altered Warren McGinnis's DNA using nanotechnology to make Terry not a clone, but a son of Bruce Wayne. In these sections of the episode, the flashbacks that have Amanda illustrating how she created Terry aren't in black and white. Why? Because thematically she's shedding light on Bruce's past. She's dispelling Terry's preconceived black and white view of his mentor. Ultimately, this conversation with Amanda reshapes Terry's perspectives, not only on Bruce, but on what it means to be Batman. Yes, the world will always need a Batman, but that doesn't mean it has to be a curse. It can mean whatever the individual makes it. This fate is what Terry must decide it's going to be. Batman has been the spine of the DCAU. He's been a central figure throughout its entire existence, so this episode, Epilogue, on a thematic level, serves as a coda to the entire universe. It's intended to bookend the decade plus of work, which makes it all the more risky that McDuffie, Tim, and Reba chose to do it with a retcon. They chose to build out a character that at the time was beloved into something that's hopefully more. But with this added context, would it be too much? Would there be a fan backlash that could take the legacy of the show? The idea that Terry initially thinks he's a clone of Bruce, but then ultimately realizes he's his heir, mirrors that real-life discourse perfectly. Additionally, the burden he's been given of the mantle of Batman is viewed as a curse, but it's actually a gift. That's a metatextual commentary on the DCAU as a whole. When Batman Beyond was first introduced, it was with the crass commercial goal of making a metaphorical clone of Batman the Animated Series show that would have followed Bruce as a young man. This was a mandate from WB execs. But since canonically Batman didn't fight crime as a teenager, Bruce Timm pitched the idea of shifting it to the future with an older Bruce mentoring a younger, new Batman. So for this, Justice League Unlimited's supposed finale, to focus on Terry fully embracing the role of Batman and all that it means on his own terms, that's a beautiful thing. It's a meta commentary on the next stage of the DCAU, the Justice League, and Batman. One that we'll never see, but one that is filled with promise. It's the perfect bookend to the entirety of the DCAU. This is symbolized by the final shots of the episode. We see Terry holding a wedding ring and asking Dana if they still have a date later that week. And when she agrees, we know that he's going to be Batman outside of Bruce's shadow. We know that he's choosing to be a Batman who has human connections. We then see shots that mirror the On Leather Wings, Batman flying through the city, and then a police officer saying, "Did you see that?" This all happens because Amanda Waller gives Terry the jarring line that sets him on his course.
You want to have a little better life than the old man's? Take care of the people who love you.
That's the emotional key to everything in this episode. Justice League Unlimited stands as one of the best runs of superhero stories ever, and Epilogue just might be the best story made during the show's run, which is all the more impressive because it doesn't utilize any of its primary cast members. From its themes of self-definition and examining the past, to the thrill of seeing the furthest point of the DCAU timeline and what old Bruce and Amanda are up to, the episode delivers on multiple levels, but always leaves you asking a central question. Will Terry succeed in embracing a better way of life than his predecessor? Maybe, maybe not. But the fact that he's trying, that's all that really matters. Well, that's all I have for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. What do you guys think, though? Will we ever get that live-action Batman Beyond?
Alright, thank y'all for watching. I got one more video I'm gonna do, and then I